Alright, and I'm back again for another episode of D Tier Challenge, which still hasn't been very challenging yet. I'm going to mark most of that up to Nyx just being that good. Really should not be on the D tier on the Warframe Builder webpage. That's just wrong. Next time I do something like this, it's going to be Hydroid or something actually bad. But today we're doing Uranus. So, let's see. Oh, let me get that. There we go. My route through Uranus is going to be Sycorax, Stefano, Desdemona, Rosalind, Titania, where we'll hit one of my favorite boss fights of all time, Til Rigor. It's a good thing it's one of my favorite boss fights, because to get Equinox you have to do it a lot. But that is the route. Now, I do still have a Forma that I earned when I was running against Sargus Ruck. I'm sitting on that because I'm not going to use it until I want to Forma my Dara. So let's go.
There is a large platoon of Grineer Marines stationed here. Leave no one standing.
And last week I was talking about boss fights and how disappointing some of them are. So maybe I should talk about bosses that are actually really cool this week, right? Seeing as we're going up against Til Rigor. Definitely one of everyone's favorites. It's one of the most interesting Grineer villains. We should definitely... I definitely hope that DE is going to use more of this character in the future. Til Rigor, Alad V, the Jordis Golem, those are all really fun and really compelling. It's a lot harder to say nice things about something than it is to criticize something. I really think it's... when something is missing, it's very obvious that it's missing, but when something is done right, you're just like, yeah, that's right, that's good. Not like you have as much to say necessarily. So what makes Til Rigor so interesting? I mean, in part, it's his contrast from what we see of the other Grineer. Grineer are like Khal, they're not smart, they're usually just, get around that. Just the guys who get in the way and say funny things. But well, I guess not. I guess all of the Grineer villains are pretty intelligent, except for Sargus Ruck. Sargus Ruck's doesn't count. But like, if you're looking at Kayla Gatham, very interesting, entertaining character. Also not an idiot, despite, thinking she can rig a tournament against Tenno. Well, Pride. I think Pride is a common thread throughout all of the Grineer villains, which is interesting. But then you have... shoot, brain just slipped. I was gonna say... Vor. Captain Vor. Annoying, but not an idiot. He's... talks too much, for sure. But he's fairly solid as far as generic villains go. You definitely feel like he poses some kind of threat, like he can plan. Til Rigor really comes off as intelligent even compared to them, and that's one of the things that makes him entertaining, is that he's the mad scientist supervillain sort.
I'm detecting a large security
I love his motivation too, where he's like, I'm gonna cure the Grineer of all their genetic problems. Which, if he didn't then want to use the Grineer to conquer the entire solar system, that would be a noble, likable thing to do. Unfortunately, that's... Unfortunately, he has the rest of that opportunity. He's got a really good visual design, too. He's very distinct. I like his sword and shield gimmick. That's fun. And I think it's the voice actor that really sells a good villain. They really have to be able to carry that excessive personality. And I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to put the name over the screen here. But the voice actor for Silvergore absolutely sells this mad, over-the-top, supervillain type character. It's a delight. Yep. Where did this guy go? Yep. Okay, so maybe not quite so much to talk about on why Alad V is awesome, other than because he is. So what else is going on Neptune? One thing that this place has, it's got the underwater Arcwing, also known as Sharkwing. And as much as I hate Arcwing, like most other players do, the Sharkwing content is better because it's slower on a smaller scale, and it provides you some sort of terrain, so that unlike the open space nonsense where just like everything is in every direction and mobility doesn't really matter, you have an environment to navigate through. That's potentially fun.
You have broken their ranks and they are on the run. Another
now,
successful mission.
with the recent push, to make Railjack and Arcwing more prevalent throughout the game, the whole like we should tie our system. Where am I going? The whole we should tie our system. I want to go through this window, but I can't, and that door is locked. I don't know this tile. Shit. Ah, here we go. Oh, no. I don't want to go in the water. Alright. But like I was saying, with the push to... Where am I even... How is this the right way? You know what, Sharkwing? I was just saying nice things about you, and you had to go and make this happen. How did that... Where... what? Okay, I was going to say maybe we need more Sharkwing, but after that, I don't think we do. Assuming it's not terrible like whatever just happened there. Wouldn't it be kind of neat to do some underwater Railjack content? I mean, we already do underwater Arcwing. Why wouldn't we expand that and have some sea environments for the Railjack to fly through? It'd be kind of cool.
The enemy is at our doorstep. You must defend our equipment until reinforcements arrive.
And we're doing another defense. Alright. That's neat. I don't remember this weird blue glowy bit. Alright. I actually need polymer, so I'm gonna grab that. I really like the environments here, and I would like to see more of them outside of here. Like, if we could do some underwater Arcwing content, that'd be neat. Or, I'm sorry, not Arcwing, Railjack. Underwater Railjack content. That would be a good change of pace from the current... No. I'm going to talk about Railjack. I am not a fan of the changes they made when they released Corpus, the Corpus planets. We're like, hey, let's make Railjack a tedious minigame that is a travel segment of how you get to a default ordinary mission. That's not fun. Why did they think that would be fun? So now, you get to play Railjack until you don't. So if you want to play Railjack content, you have to spend half of your time playing normal mission content afterwards. That's the worst of both worlds. It's how they decided to integrate their systems, and I don't think it was worth it. Because, like, I can play all of those mission types without my Railjack. So if I wanted to do those things, why would I take my Railjack to do them? And in some regard, I understand some of the issues they're working with. Like, how it instances out, sort of. You know, you're on your ship, and then you transition to the enemy ship mission type, and your Railjack's just sort of not there anymore because it's on a different map, which is good, because if you're going to make us do a full-length normal mission without with the same level of difficulty as you would expect otherwise, yeah, you kind of can't leave the Railjack there to get destroyed by nonsense. It's still just, it's not good. So, what would be more fun? What would be a better way of doing it? I mean, I think the spy mission is one of the better examples of how to address this. Like, let's talk real quick about Railjack without those. How many things do you normally have access to? In the Corpus Railjack, you have 2 minor objectives, like a small tile set of an ice miner ship or something, and I think some tile set that's actually literally a mine. So there's a ship or a station, and then there's some other thing, which is usually, or can be like a derelict in some cases. And then, this is technically true, each of the enemy ships that you can board, each of the enemy cruise ships, is its own sort of little miniature tile set. So, there's probably some limitation on how much of that they can support in this environment, in this mode. But maybe they need to look into exploiting that better. Like, let's say that they wanted you to do a Railjack spy mission, right? So, why not have 3 separate spy vaults spread out in space that you have to travel to? And each one is just a couple of tiles with a spy vault. I know part of their logic behind all the ways they've balanced Railjack have been madness. Like, oh, well, Grineer enemies on Railjack should have obscene amounts of armor because, lol, you're not going to fight as many of them, so we should make them hard. No, don't do that. We're not going to fight as many of them because we're going to be multitasking and we're going to be doing other things. The challenge isn't in the specific enemy count, it's in the overall combination of events. And it's okay for that to be less challenging individually because it's more complex overall. That's where the compelling gameplay is supposed to be. Not the, oh no, how are we going to overcome the obscene amount of armor that these Grineer have? No one cares. No one wants to worry about that. So...
Extraction is
oh,
ready.
well, let's get out of here.
Unless you can handle more of the enemy. You're here to sabotage Till Regor's cloning labs. My intel suggests there are rich enemy supply caches in the area, but I am unable to pinpoint their exact location. Search them out if you are willing to shoulder the added risk.
So back to my imaginary railjack scenario. You're doing a spy mission. There are 3 small, like, outposts or locations floating around in space, and you use the railjack or your Arcwing to travel around to those different locations, and you hack each of those vaults independently. Now, I'm not worrying about those guys. So, do you have the experience of the generic spy vault where you run through a whole huge tile set to go to 3 different vaults? No, not really. But why would you need that? If you wanted to do that, you would just play the normal spy mission. If you want to integrate the actual use of railjack
now start the pumps and flood this place.
With other modes, railjack needs to be a part of it at all times. So using your ship to travel between these different locations,
The Grineer must not
that
stop
would
the
matter. Now, would the actual spy mission itself be simpler? Yeah. You have small tile sets, or well, not tile sets, you have small contiguous groups of tiles where each location reaches 1 spy vault. You're not going to have the same complexity that you see traveling through a usual spy vault mission. That's okay, because it's the combination that you're looking at. It's the combination of complexity. The fact that you have to ferry people between these different locations, or that they have to travel there themselves. That's where you're getting the enjoyment. That's fine. That's better.
Flooding complete. Proceed to the caves below.
How does that expand out to other game modes? I don't really know. But maybe it doesn't need to exactly match the other mission. Maybe you don't have to do... What I do know is that cutting the mission literally in half and having half of an Arcwing mission, or half of a Railjack mission and half of a normal mission, it's not fun. So having that clear division in the middle, that's the problem. And that's the problem that needs to get overcome. So if you break that up so that it doesn't cleanly split in half, if you spread out the objectives within the Railjack component, that could be more interesting. It does mean that you need to start balancing the specific objectives so that they can be done by only 1 or 2 players.
You are nearing
But
one
that's
of
okay.
Tilregor's newest creations. Make sure it never sees the surface.
Ooh, what do I do with this? Can't drop down there, can I? Okay. Make everybody crazy.
Good work. That beast won't be able to threaten any Tenno in the field.
Well, oh well. I guess I did it the easy way.
Tenno, you are here to infiltrate data vaults and retrieve highly sensitive enemy information.
Yeah, speaking of spy missions, here's one of the more... Oh no, I did it again. Alright, here's one of the more difficult ones because people don't do them that often. This is up there with Lua. Nope, we're not fighting you guys. Boring. Ah, I hate that. I hate the fake door.
Tenno, be on the lookout for increased security measures. The enemy would rather destroy their data than let it get into our hands.
Yeah, well.
The target console is nearby. If you trigger the alarms now, the enemy will start destroying data.
I think I'm kind of out of topics of reflection at the moment. Unless we want to reflect on how dumb I feel for selling my Korra by mistake. Well, not exactly a mistake. I was so confident that Korra was going to be the next frame to get released that I fed my Korra to Helminth in preparation. And of course, that's not what happened. Not that I'm not psyched for Garuda Prime. I am. Because I do like... Excellent. I do like Garuda. I used to work really hard at this very nonsense build, which was designed to keep me at 2 HP and then get the full damage benefit out of her claws. Which unfortunately, that's not how it works anymore. I don't know, I don't think I like that, but in fairness, her original passive was too weak to be useful, and I wasted a whole build on it. So, oh well. I am hoping that Garuda Prime's claws are good enough that they can actually compete with current and existing melee weapons. Because even with her passive before, it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough to make her claws compete with melee weapons that I could just use. So I'm hoping that her claws get a buff, because they were fun.
Trigger the alarms now, and they will start destroying the data.
Where am I going? Oh right, this is this one. Okay, so that was silent-ish. Okay. Can I really? I can't do that. Ah.
Alarms have been triggered. You need to retrieve that data before
Jesus,
the
is
data
this just-
destruction is complete.
A constant... Well, that's no fun. So if you botch that, then you just keep getting knocked down. And that's why I have Prime sure-footed on so many things, because knockdown
Data
spam in
integrity
Warframe is
verified.
just...
Retrieval was successful.
Ugh. Not really sure how to get past those the right way. I think there's another series of tubes that you can do instead of going that way, but I just did not want to do Sharkwing right then. And yeah, I could have used my operator and just skipped the entire thing, but that's cheating. Well, it's cheating for this run. It's exactly what I probably would have done on my own.
The target console is nearby. If you trigger the alarms now, the enemy will start destroying data.
Oh no, this is the tower, isn't it?
Alarms! Data destruction is imminent. You need to hurry.
I'm cheating this time.
You got it. The data is still intact. We have everything we came for. Get to extraction.
Knockdown is just the most annoying. But there we go. We did 3 vaults. 3 underwater vaults. Well enough, I suppose. Alright. Time for one of my favorite boss fights.
Grenier researcher Tyle Reger has made alarming strides in the field of gene repair. His work would not only reverse centuries of deterioration due to excessive cloning, but also allow for stronger and deadlier genetic molds. Eliminate Regor and put a stop to his work.
You must be feeling guilty. Need to atone? I'll oblige. Let my gavel wring justice off your thin tin skull.
I didn't realize the Oculists could spawn on the assassination. That's interesting.
Tenno, what did you see? My data stream went dark.
I'm very excited now. The anticipation. Ooh, I always learn so much from a live dissection. First you, Tenno. Next, your
I am sensing some
Lotus.
signal masking. It will take some time to decipher. Concentrate on your mission for now.
Jesus. He just interrupted my rifle? No, that must have been the roller ball.
A dissection? No. That sounds too humane. Your death will be...
Oh man, stripping his armor. Definitely
Come for a fight. Oh,
the winning move here. As with everything in the game,
Down on us if I have to.
just throwing psychic bolts makes every fight easier for Nyx. Really, that's kind of the problem that I'm running into with the D tier challenge, is that it doesn't actually matter how bad my weapons are. Oh man, did my my sentinel must have died. Well, that sucks. What are you doing down there?
Come near me, and I'll pound you into a tiny cube.
Why a cube, though? Alright.
Nowhere left to hide. Nowhere left to run.
That is cool. I wonder if I can mind control the, oh, I can, but they're still invisible. I don't like it. But I can still kill it while it's invisible that way. That's great. Oh. That's a new strategy now for dealing with those things. Alright.
Nice work taking down the VIP. Now get to extraction.
Thank you guys for
You are
propping all the
surrounded
doors
by
open for me.
Marines.
Almost all the doors. Alright.
They won't be bothering us anymore. Let's get out of here.
And that closes out one more planet. Real close to finishing out my Dara too. Next up, we'll be doing the Nata quest.